Oh, to
the theater.
After 4 years.
that Breakfast with Santa or something?
Zootopia.
It's an animated.
Recording in progress.
Recording until. Oh, hey, no. You're recording?
We are recording.
Okay. Looks like everybody's corporate officer.
Oh, no, I just wanted to make sure that at adoption of the agenda, I could adjust a couple things.
Sure. Right, exactly. Okay, welcome everybody to the December 11th Regional Board meeting. I want to recognize we're holding the meeting on the traditional territory of the Tla'amin Nation. And I understand we have some adjustments to agenda. Corporate officer, do you want to walk us through those?
Oh, yes. So at committee of the whole today, there was a motion that was made about PREI. And I just will ask Ms. Coleman if there was another item that I'm missing from my notes.
No, nothing else.
Okay, she's indicating there's nothing else. It was pointed out that item 5.1, is there a weighted vote on that one?
Yeah, there's a voting change on two things here. So sub-regional recreation it's not a weighted vote, but it's a participants vote. So areas A, B, C would vote on that item. And then for parkland acquisition, 10.1, that's all directors and a weighted vote as well.
Would somebody like to move the agenda as amended? Dr. McCormick and Paul, thank you. All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Item 3.1, minutes of the regular board meeting November 26, 2025. Any errors or omissions? Seeing none, would somebody like to move acceptance? Director Elliott, Director McCormick, thank you. All in favor? Not opposed. Motion carries. Unfinished business 5.1, sub-regional recreational service contribution. Moved. Seconded by Director Lennox. Any discussion? Director Gisborne.
Thank you, Chair. For those in the public that might wonder where this is coming from or coming up, they might want to go all the way back to, I think, March 11. And I believe the motion that was at the Finance Committee was for $233,000 contribution at the time. I said, I'll actually move the motion to increase it to $240,000. That passed. But then the motion was postponed until such time that the regional district participants and the city actually met. And in my opinion, we've met that first obligation. Speaking to each other, that makes me very happy. And as a result, I'm very happy to move this motion. And I look forward to future conversations between the regional district and the municipality regarding the sub-regional recreation service. And hopefully we can come to some kind of agreement that lasts more than a year. Maybe a 5-year agreement, but we'll find out. The first step is to talk to each other. My stance was, let's hold off on providing the funding until we talk. We're talking. I'm happy to move the motion. I hope it passes. Thank you, Chair.
Any other comments? Seeing none, all in favor? None opposed, motion carries. We have one item of correspondence. Has any business arising from said correspondence?
I have a question.
Gisborne, yes.
Yes. Final report notes a total eligible expenditure of $11,886. It's for C3 meetings. When was the last time we had a C3 meeting?
CAO?
Chair, it was the expenses were to be used for C3 meetings or C3 related. So the funding was used for things involved with trying to get to one of those. We did. A lot of it was deal with legal and some of the other things we took on. And when we submitted, we were actually awesome. They were gracious enough to give us more to cover it all off.
Wonderful. That answers my question, because I'm sure some folks are going to ask me, oh, well, how many C3? That clarifies everything. Thank you very much, CIO.
We have no business rising from correspondence. We have a consent agenda. Is anybody wanting to pull something? Director Gisborne?
I'll pull 8.1 and 8.5.
Okay, now 9.1 and 9.2. Anything else? Seeing no hands, somebody like to move acceptance, Director Lennox and Director Elliott. Thank you, all in favor. Carries unanimously, so now. 9.1.
That's, yeah, the new 8.1, and before I move the motion, I got a question, and I'm not sure if Mr. Devereaux, let's see, Mr. Devereaux.
Okay.
Okay, through the chair, and please bear with me because I'm not a well driller. I don't know any of this kind of stuff. I had a town hall and there was an individual who seemed to know more than I do. Apparently he came from the fracking industry, and he talked about like well perforation technology where they kind of put a device in and it actually blows holes in the casings. And I'm just wondering about like other options or alternatives. And one of the suggestions that came up was, taking the deep well that goes down into the bedrock that's not being used because of the organics and those kind of things, and potentially plugging the bottom of it, and then using that well perforation to kind of blow the holes in the side of the casing that's down at around the 70 meters, which would then allow us to take water from that lower aquifer. And I'm just wondering, is that something that's even possible with like well drilling, or is that more of like an oil and gas thing? I know $140,000 isn't a lot, but it's a small service area, and every dollar matters out there. And I'm just wondering if that might be an opportunity or a possibility, or if it's too late to, would that require a consultation from an expert?
Mr. Devereaux, I don't know if you have the ability to answer that, but go ahead.
Yeah, Chair, that would have to be something we'd investigate. I have no idea I wouldn't even want to guess at how the province would tackle blowing up bedrock in an aquifer. I don't know. The expert advice we have is what we want to move forward with.
Okay, I have a follow-up question.
Okay.
And then this is in relation to the drilling of a new well and a variable speed pump. I had a chance to go back through some of the other reports, and I believe it was the 2014 report with the assessment of the wells. And one of the recommendations was actually installing three-phase power to create greater energy efficiency with the pump that would be in the well. And as I understand, I don't think there's any three-phase power there, but if we're looking at doing a new well and a new pump, it might cost a bit more to get three-phase power to the site, but if that could potentially reduce like long-term operational costs, that might be a good idea to say do up front rather than say having to pull out a single-phase well and put in a three-phase, or pull out a single-phase pump, put in a three-phase pump. I'm just wondering, is that something that we should consider, or can we stick with single-phase?
I feel that we're getting down into the weeds here, into the operational end of things, but
It's a budget issue.
if Mr. Devereaux has some comment to make.
Sure. I don't want to speculate on the cost of bringing three-phase to the site, but I can tell you that when we eliminated three-phase from the maintenance facility and went to single-phase, you may remember about 6 years ago, we got rid of that transformer that was inside the office there. The difference in the transformers for the three-phase was over $15,000. So it would have been at least $15,000 more to establish a new transformer for the three-phase. Now, and that power was already there at site, not having to bring that from somewhere else. I don't want to speculate on the cost to bring it to that site.
Thank you very much.
Those are my questions, and with that, I will actually move the motion that is in the package.
Okay, seconded by Dr. Lennox. Any discussion? Lennox?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. And just to sort of add on to what Director Gisborne's thought pattern, more just in an effort to help in the future and relevant to what the motion is to spend the money on this well. Just so we all know, there are people in the community, there's a resident there that knows what they're talking about. And so when we're talking to the community, there's other ideas, and what we're talking about is, and I guess my question, I think I know the answer is, we drill this well now because of the urgency of needing a well to provide water to Myrtle Pond? I think the answer is yes, but then even beyond that, that only lasts so long. There are people that know, like I say, know the subject that are saying there's other ways to do it where you pump that water, that silty water up to the surface and you separate the sand, or there's some other options. And I thought it was a very interesting discussion. Just putting it out there that we should be mature enough to start thinking and working with our residents that have these ideas. You hear the word fracking, it's a kind of has negative connotations, but if you stand back and look at the technology, what the opinion of this proponent is, you break up the silty area by creating larger chunks, it filters the water, and then when it gets to our system, it's pre-filtered instead of silty. So just wanted to throw that out there that it's I think I'm pretty confident we need to drill this well and take care of the water, but I think longer term, as we learn more about water, well water, all these things, that it is relevant, and there's somebody that's very interested in the community that's trying to engage.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Director Gisborne.
Yeah, and just to clarify, I believe the suggestion from the member of the public around well perforation was not about going down into the bedrock and wrecking. It's essentially I had to kind of look it up to figure out what he was talking about. And it's about like putting small holes in the casing itself at a higher elevation above the bedrock into where the aquifer
Other
is.
options.
And the other options, because we have a well there from 1993 that we're not even using because where the screen is down in the bedrock, and we had issues with sodium and chlorine, which speculated a saltwater intrusion and high levels of organics. So getting the water from down there in the bedrock, we're not doing that because of the water quality issues. So I believe the suggestion from this individual was plug the bottom and potentially perforate the sides at the appropriate depth. I'm not a technical, I've never really been involved with deep wells or anything like that, but it was just an interesting suggestion. And I wanted to bring it up and share it with the assembly, and because maybe that's even something for in the future, because one of the concerns I always have is if we're relying on one well and something happens with, say, this new well for whatever reason, or it needs maintenance, I'm worried that without a backup, community might run into some water problem challenges again, because I think that's where we ran into a bit of an issue, was relying on one well, green got clogged, stage 4 water restrictions all summer without a backup well. So this should hopefully get us through this summer in 2026, so people in Myrtle Pond have water. But as a farmer, I always like to think of what are our redundancies, and that might come with greater cost, which of course comes with greater parcel taxes and operational costs. But I think that's a discussion for a future time. Right now, we got to make sure they get water for 2026.
Thank you. Okay, Director Elliott.
Just when we were talking to the consultant that wrote the thing back at the committee level, we were talking about other solutions that might have been possible if there hadn't been already an inner sleeve put in, which changes the circumference that you might use for various tools.
Okay.
And so I suspect that would have an impact on the ability to do that too.
It's a different well.
Okay.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about.
We've gotten off the topic here. We're now debating well sizes and pipes and stuff like that, but we have a motion in front of us, and if we have no other discussion, I'd like to call the question on it. All in favor? None opposed, motion carries. Item 8.5. Oh, here. Oh, all right. Oh,
Chair,
yes,
I just want to clarify that this is an all directors weighted vote.
okay. Dr. Gisborne, you pulled it, so
Yeah.
9.2.
I pulled it because I'm not entirely sure I want to support it. And the reason for it is when I think about the parks that we have, Haywire Bay, Myrtle Rocks, Paradise Exhibition Park, Shelter Point, we've got some incredible regional parks in our community. And I believe we were able to acquire all those parks without having a parkland acquisition policy. And it was a lot of the political will of the board. And I'm just thinking about our financial plan, and we're seeing, greater costs. And I just think every time we create a policy for, say it's parkland acquisition or anything else, that comes with costs to our staff and organization. And, allocating resources to, looking and weighing. pros
I
and
think we
cons.
need to have a motion here, because right now you're just,
Okay.
are you gonna give us a motion or?
That motion,
Well,
that's.
there's a motion in the package, but.
Yeah, are you
if I
gonna
don't-
make that one or are you gonna make an alternate motion?
Well, if I don't want to support it, then I don't want to make. the
I'll
motion.
move the motion in the package.
Okay, thank you, Director Fall.
Second.
Seconded by Director McCormick. Now we have discussion. Now you continue.
Okay, thank you, Chair. And the reason why I actually don't support having a parkland acquisition policy is I think we've been doing pretty good up until this point with the board making decisions on which park we want. And we've been doing it without having a policy and a weighting of, what are our priorities? And I think of, Haywire Bay. Board and the community recognized a problem, proposed a solution, board took action, acquired the park, moved forward. And I'm just thinking about our costs that are not necessarily related to actually purchasing the park. Let's try to cut down on paperwork, Chair.
Okay, thank you. I see it as the policy has already been created. All this can do is add efficiency to when a parcel does come on the market. We have a way to evaluate it. Director Fall, I saw your hand up.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to point out, I agree with those comments, but I also think this policy could save us money because it'll do two things at least. One is it'll help us be more efficient in the process to bring proposals forward. It'll provide clarity for staff to provide information to the board in a more timely way rather than ad hoc. And I'm not just, the past decisions may have been perfectly fine. We can't speculate about what would have been happening, how things may or may not have been different if we'd had this policy. The parks we have may very well have scored high. So, but it might have been more efficient and it would be more clear. And it would also provide much clearer justification and communication to the public why we might choose certain parks. If we say we have a policy that identifies these criteria, these priorities, and we're choosing this to spend tax dollars on this piece of land for a regional park because, and here's the justification, and the public can actually see that. We'll get higher buy-in by the public for using their money to buy parks. So I think it actually saves money and makes it more efficient. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Director McCormick?
And I would totally concur. I think as the region densifies, which it certainly will, and it certainly will grow, public land is precious and parkland is the most precious. And so having a target here for how much we want to give to our, future generations, I think is really important. And
The target is actually in the next resolution, but this one is.
supporting policy.
Okay, great. So seeing no other hands, we'll call the question on it. All in favor? Any opposed? 2 opposed. Motion carried. So item 10.1, parkland acquisition target and policy. Somebody like to move the motion in the package? Director McCormick, seconded by Director Elliott. Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, call the question. All in favor? Any opposed? 3 opposed. Director Lennox, Gisborne, and Brander. But motion carries. 10.2, standing committee and board meeting schedule 2026. I have Director Elliott moves it and seconded by Director Southcott. Thank you very much. Any discussion? Second Gisborne?
I've spoken against our meetings being held at these times in the past. I've spoken about them this year, last year, and previous. I'm gonna not spend any more time. I'm just gonna say, if you're wondering why I'm opposed, you can go and watch all those other meetings. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, seeing no other hands, we'll call the question. All in favor? Any opposed? Lennox and Gisborne opposed. Motion carries. No reports. Bylaws 12.1. Somebody like to read that for us?
I'll read it out. I move that the board give first and second reading of Cadet Regional District Revenue Anticipation Borrowing Bylaw number 605, 2025.
Seconded by Director Southcott. Any discussion? None. All in favor? Carries unanimous.
I move that the board give third reading of Cadet Regional District Revenue Anticipation Borrowing Bylaw number 605, 2025.
Seconded by Director Southcott. Discussion? None. All in favor? Carries unanimously.
And I move that the board adopt Cadet Regional District Revenue Anticipation Borrowing Bylaw number 605, 2025.
Seconded by Director Southcott. Discussion? Director Elliott.
Thank you. Just for the benefit of the public that's watching, this went through our finance committee. It's a motion we make every year that covers off cash flow matters that may happen before a requisition arrives in the summer. It's virtually never used. I don't even know if it's ever been used as far as needing it, but it is a risk management strategy that we typically do.
Okay, thank you. No other hands up, no other question, all in favor? Yes, support, great. 12.2, Director's Remuneration and Expenses Amendment Bylaw number 558.11. Who would like to take that one? Yeah, Director Gibb.
I'll move that the board give first and second reading of Director's Remuneration and Expenses Amendment Bylaw number 558.11, 2025.
Seconded by Director Southcott. Discussion? None? All in favor? Carries.
I move the board give third reading of Director's Remuneration and Expenses Amendment Bylaw number 558.11, 2025.
Seconded by Director Southcott. Discussion? None? All in favor? Carries.
And I move that the board adopt Director's Remuneration and Expenses Amendment Bylaw number 558.11, 2025.
Second by Director Southcott. Any discussion? None? All in favor? Again, unanimous. Thank you very much. New business, none. What, is there a new bit? Oh, yes, right. Where, I don't have it in front of me here, so we'll go to corporate officer.
Oh, sorry, I had slated that under the consent agenda.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's,
Because-
you said that during the amendment, or the amended agenda.
Because
Yeah.
it received unanimous support.
Right, okay. Okay, great. Question period then, Mr. Lynsay.
Hello, Chair. Sorry, it took me a moment to unmute there.
All right.
I have a question with regard to item 6.1, which was the Spring Regional Community to Community Program C3 meetings, a letter from the UBCM. And it appears that about $12,000 was expended on putting together this project. The correspondence alludes to a final report. I am wondering if the final report is a public document that I can access.
CAO.
The chair, we will check with the UBCM. And if it's allowable, we will share that with you.
I appreciate the CAO's response. That was my question, Chair. Thank you very much.
Okay, very welcome. We have an in-camera session. We don't need it read out, but would somebody like to move it?
Moved.
There's one, seconded Director McCormick. There's not usually any discussion associated with this, so we'll just call the question. All in favor? Carries. We're going in camera.
Recording in progress.
My mother used to tell me I had a little leg or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Are we back in open session, Ms. Coleman?
I haven't heard the recording started yet.
Working with my phone, this for on my cell.
Okay, we're back in open session. We have a rise and report, 2 items. The board reappointed Ellen DeCastmaker and Alan Rabane to the Agricultural Advisory Committee as representatives of the Powell River Farmers Agricultural Institute for a 2-year term expiring December 31st, 2027. And the board appointed Joe Martin to a new 2-year term and reappointed Rick Jones for a 3-year term to the Texada Airport Advisory Committee. And with that, we've reached the end of our agenda. So this meeting is adjourned. I hope you all have a great holiday season and we'll see you in January.
Merry Christmas.
Hey, take care, everyone.
You too, Andrew. Have a good one.
Goodbye, everyone.